Okay, we have some breaking royal news that we finally have an answer regarding King Charles's coronation and whether or not Prince Harry and his wife Meghan, either or both, the Duke and Duchess of Sussex and Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet will be attending the coronation. Everybody has been speculating and waiting for months because they actually were supposed to RSVP on April 3rd. Everybody is RSVP'd except for them. So now we are waiting to find out for the longest time whether or not Harry and Meghan were going to come. And finally, we have an answer. The answer is, and I want you guys to let me know your thoughts after I read the release. This is breaking news, so it's brand new. So there's a lot that I'm sure will still unfold regarding this news, but we do have an answer for the coronation, and Harry did say yes. So King Charles will have his son, Prince Harry, attending the coronation. So welcome everybody. I am Deanna from Hot for History. I'm really excited to be here with you. I share royal news and gossip, but mainly quirky history with my shorts channels on all of the different platforms. Hot for History. We're just taking a break, or we're adding all of this content because we are living in the time of seeing history unfolding as we speak, because it's a new monarchy. We haven't seen anything like this for 70 years. The coronation is May 6th. It's a very important date. We've been waiting because there's been a lot of drama with Prince Harry. So I want to hear what you guys' opinion is, and I'm going to read the Buckingham Palace release. I'm going to read all of that, but please do subscribe, share. We always thank you for the super chat. Look at my description on different ways that you can support me, whether it's, the nutrition program that I'm using or other affiliate links. I do appreciate it. So let's talk about this, guys. Let's discuss the news. Apparently, Harry has announced that he is coming. How do you guys feel about this? Please do let me know where you're from. I know that we have Brian, who has said that he is declining his invitation to King Charles's coronation because he has a birthday to attend. So we're all just going to kind of hang out here and watch it from afar in the air conditioning without our fascinators on, but we will have a lot of news. So I'm glad he's coming to Livy. And by the way, Jones is my maiden name. I'm a Jones girl too. So you said that for days that he was going to come. All right. So let me just read this to you. And then I want everybody's opinion. I'm going to read everybody's opinion because obviously it's going to run the gamut. So finally, it's April 12th. Britain's Prince Harry will attend the coronation next month of his father, King Charles, but his wife, Meghan, will remain in California with the couple's young children. Chew on that a little bit. And then when I'm done with this article, I want to hear what you guys have to say regarding Meghan and the kids not coming. The announcement ends speculation as to whether the king's youngest son would attend following his high profile and stinging criticism, you think, of the royal family since he stepped back from royal duties in 2020. Charles will be crowned next month in a ceremony full of pomp, pageantry, and traditions that date back 1,000 years following the 70-year reign of his mother, Queen Elizabeth, who died in September, and also a $100 million event. Buckingham Palace, this is the announcement. Guys, we finally have the announcement, is pleased. They are pleased to confirm that the Duke of Sussex will attend the coronation service at Westminster Abbey on May 6th, the palace spokesperson said. The Duchess of Sussex will remain in California with Prince Archie and Princess Lilibet. Charles's coronation is expected to draw guests. There will be millions and millions of people on the street. They're having about 2,000 people in the Abbey, but it should be heads of state, dignitaries. He's also inviting like community leaders as well. Preparations for the event have been overshadowed. Yeah. In recent months by Harry's damning revelations. This is Reuters, by the way, about his father and his brother, the heir to the throne, William, in his recent memoir. And then the Netflix documentary, and then a series of TV interviews, including his therapy session with Gabor Mate, where he had a live stream paid therapy session. And he came to the UK to make sure that he's, going forward with his lawsuits. So asked in one interview in January whether he would attend the coronation if given an invitation, Harry said, "There's a lot that can happen between now and then, but the door's always open." Harry has always said that he loves his family. So Harry used his book to reveal a series of bust-ups in the family. This one I think is exaggerated, but it says including a brawl with William. Spokespeople for King Charles and Prince William have declined to comment. Harry was last in Britain in late March attending a court case he and other high-profile figures have brought against the publisher. Okay, so that is basically the announcement. Now I'm going to go to the comments. I will show you some other headlines, which are basically the same thing, guys. They say the same thing. Okay, let's talk about, let me get your opinions first. Yeah, I agree. Okay, so MC, wait, okay. He should bring Archie with him. He's big enough. Bring an Annie. I feel that way too. I feel like it's so important, so special. I can't imagine if that was my family. And then years later, let's say I'm like 40 years old. Why didn't you let me attend? I was 4 years old. I mean, it's his birthday, but the thing is, I would make it the most special birthday for my kid. I would say, you get to go and it's going to be really special. But if they weren't accommodating, let's say what the kids needed, like, playtime, like a special event, apparently they had 3 demands. One was to stand on the balcony. One was to have Archie shout it out. And then the other was to get an invitation for the kids, which the kids, I don't think would have been invited to the actual event because they were too young. So I agree. Okay, so now let's talk about, sorry, MC, I know you were first and you were waiting for such a long time, but I agree with their decision as Meghan isn't part of the system anymore. It doesn't seem, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. It doesn't seem like they've been together that much. I mean, unless we just, I don't know why that's there. Sorry. So I don't really know. Let me see something. Where's the next clip? Yeah, that's what we want. It doesn't seem like they've been together that much. They just haven't been. I haven't seen them a lot together, considering we've seen them so much in what I consider fire hose. So I'm not really sure what's going on there. But Meghan isn't a part of that system anymore. Yeah. So I guess, I mean, I would have thought, just go let them boo you in, let them scream at you, throw tomatoes if they want, make sure you have security, but go hold your head up high. At least it gives you the option that at some point you won't have regrets that you didn't attend. And yes, the children are really young, but it might be a way for you guys to at least extend an olive branch or at least show up, and then if you still don't agree with it later, you'll deal with it later. So yes. Now we have, okay, so Lola also is like, he should bring Archie with him. He's big enough, bring an Annie. Oh, we kind of went through that. Okay, so let's talk about this. Meghan knows she will get booed. Money grabbers, two-faced liars, they are for sure. So I think they'll be booed too, and Harry will be booed less without Meghan because it'll be more low-key. But I think that they should still just deal with that. Deal with the boos, deal with the, haters, because it's still going to be a little bit better to kind of, in general, it's a pretty elegant event. So I don't think it's going to be like, they're in a bar and people are booing, but people will boo, but it probably won't be as bad as they think. I'll bet the children in the family all have a coronation. This is what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking, is that, hey, bring your kids, just bring them and let them have a good time together with their cousins. It's not a family event in a sense, but it is a family event. You can make it whatever. Stay in Buckingham Palace. I think they have Frogmore Cottage just through this event. I think they're done with Frogmore. Stay in Buckingham Palace. Have a little area for the kids, make it nice, go to the coronation, come back. In all honesty, even though it's a big thing, it's really only a few hours, especially if they're not even on the balcony or anything. Just go. But I know that it's a lot to have to confront people or whatever, but they're not going to be paying a lot of attention to you, at least the family, because they're not going to have time to talk to you much. So in some ways, it could have been a good thing. I do think it's nice that at least one of them came. It's only a half of a, F you, it's only half of that. Meaning at a kid's party. He won't, okay, wait. Oh, come on, Brian, let's talk. Okay, Brian says that he won't turn up in the end. There'll be a tantrum and he'll have to stay home. Okay, let's remember that Brian said this. Is he being prophetic? Is he being prophetic? he might be prophetic on the subject. He might be. There's always something, and I agree. There's almost always something with them. So you never ever know. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly go through this, and then we're going to talk a little bit more about the coronation, because there's an part of this book that I think his last name was Jobson. He said that Meghan was given advice from Queen Elizabeth when she first came into the institution, into the family. And she's like, speak to Sophie. She married my son, Edward. She's a PR person. And it's true. Sophie has been able to handle this royal transition or whatever brilliantly and beautifully. But Meghan was like, I don't need to do that. I'll talk to Harry, to the Queen. And so this is like also news that she basically had advice from the Queen, and she wouldn't even take the advice from the Queen and just said, I don't think so. I don't think Meghan's kind of a girl's girl, honestly. I don't think she's like one of those like, hey, let's hang around with the girls, like, and let me get advice from my girlfriends. I just don't think that she is. I think she's more of a, whatever I want to do, I'm going to do it kind of a girl, right? I just don't think she's a girl's girl. So I think that was the deal with the Queen. Okay, so let's talk a little bit more about this. He won't turn up. I think that might be a prophetic statement. We will see. So glad she's not going, but also I hope Harry doesn't get camera time. He was a distraction. Listen, they're going to put that camera on him. Absolutely, he'll get camera time. I do think that they're going to keep him probably, I don't know, a couple rows back, I would think. But yeah, not to be extremely for her to choose. I think it's extreme. Yeah. That's the thing. 4-year-olds don't know. 4-year-olds don't know like whether your birthday's on the Friday or whatever. I'd have it early, and I'd have them have some kind of big deal in London. Honestly, I would just spoil my child on that particular day. Take him, he wouldn't know. He's not looking at a calendar. I feel like the risk of knowing, like for me, I'm really into family history, obviously, or I wouldn't have a history channel. For him to grow up, and Lilibet, to grow up and then be like, why didn't we go? Like, why didn't you have us go? Although by then they may really be believing Harry and Meghan's narrative. They run more of a risk with their children kind of being resentful, because kids always go against their parents at some point, especially when they just do. And they can come back. So they will be doubting their parents, and they will be curious about their extended family. And he's in his 70s. They have very little time to really be connecting with their grandfather. We know they're all dysfunctional. Okay, because somebody's going to say, well, they're all crazy. Yes, in a sense they are. But still, many of us have dysfunctional families. Most do. I haven't met anybody with a totally perfect family. So I just think that I agree with you, Mary, that they should have had the 4th birthday another time. Not a big deal. Nobody in Montecito cares. They're all going to want to watch the coronation anyhow. And so have the party some other time. Take the kids, get a nanny, Meghan show up. I mean, if you really break it down that way, they could have had a nanny and childcare and playtime with cousins. Totally. They could have decided to stay longer, even if the royal family was like, we don't even want you here. Well, then fine, get a house somewhere else, or stay with one of and just stay as long as you want. Stay a week or so. Just hang out for a while. Let the kids get acclimated. And then also, by the way, dip your toe into the pool of what this all is and just test the waters a little bit. See what it's like. See if it's as bad as you think. Most of the time, it's not as bad as you think. Okay, so let me see what McDaniel has to say. It would have been a very classy move for Meghan to attend. I agree. I think that it would have been classy. I think it would have been, like, hey, let's show up and let's bite the bullet here and let's just do it. Let's just do it. And then I think that it would have said a lot. It would have been like kind of a surprise to them, to the royal family. And as much as Harry and Meghan really it's just this big exaggerated thing regarding the royal family. I mean, probably a lot of it's true. I think the royal family may also have this extensive over-exaggeration about Harry and Meghan. However, we do have data to prove a lot of what they think. because we've all seen it where it's like, what in the world? But I think what we know is that they don't make, they just don't make wise decisions. They're like, it's all like this concept of everything's about us. And like, it's never sort of about, what could work for everybody. I don't know. It just never is. Andrea says probably what a lot of people are thinking. They should both stay away, in my opinion. I think many people think that. I think there are a lot of people in the press, actually in the British press, especially, who are like, I hope they don't come. I hope Harry will show some respect to due to his brother and his father. It's time for him to grow up. I agree, Anne. Oh, well, this is interesting. Probably going to make me want to research this. Jackie Kennedy threw a birthday party for John after JFK's funeral. Just excuses from Meghan. I mean, that's intense. That is really intense. By the way, there's an author out there who I'm going to be interviewing regarding Jackie Kennedy, and John. So I will be interviewing her probably not till after the coronation, but that's a really great point. And I will be looking into that, McDaniel. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for the trivia. And I love trivia, guys, if you have any. He may scowl. Well, yeah. Will we get a smile? Will we get a smile? I don't know. Good point, McDaniel. Okay. No, it's not a family event. And family have never took precedence. Right. It's the proclamation of our monarch, a process dating back to 1,000 years. Yeah, it is. But even with that, because family can come, he's coming to show, I guess, his support, or show that, hey, I'm still part of this. But I don't know. I love what, I don't know who said that. Who said the classy thing? Was it McDaniel? It would have been, yeah, McDaniel. I love what you said, because it would have been classy. It would have been something that at least, okay, let's take a breath. And I personally think, even though they would have taken the hit with a lot of booing and I think it would actually soften a lot of this, wondering like what's going on. I think it would soften a lot of that. It's a historic occasion. Yes, absolutely. It's a ceremony paid by the British. Okay. Now let's read what Christine has to say. Okay. In the past, inviting rogue family members, this is a good point, like the Duke of Windsor and World War II, without their wives, is to have a talk without interference and decide what they will or won't do. Without their wives is to have a talk without interference and decide what they will or won't do for the troublemaker. Interesting. Now, I know, Christine, that Edward VIII was not, like, he was clearly and strongly not invited to the coronation of his brother, George V. And also, when he was on his deathbed and he wanted his wife, Wallis, to get the HRH title, and he asked the Queen 10 days before he died, she was like, no, I'm sorry, you made a decision to not be a part of this family. I cannot comply with that. So I don't know. It's interesting. We'll see. Maybe they will see this as an opportunity to have a little side conversation with Harry. It is said that he's not planning on staying very long. So I don't know. And Liz says, very good point, Daniel, you get extra points for that classy comment. But since when does Meghan turn to, like, that's what makes me feel, Liz, that like, hey, wait a second. Are they like, what's going on here? And again, speculation, but she's been very low key, except for attending, Ellen's party and heading off to California and, Southern California at some point. Yes, the kids have never been in public with their grandfather, which is sad. Guys, we haven't even hardly seen their faces. Let's talk about that. I understand wanting to kind of keep them, but have any of you seen Lilibet's face? I've never seen her face. So they were probably like, well, we need to do like the Michael Jackson thing and have a blanket, and we need to know like that you're not going to take photos. Of course, their photos would have been taken. I mean, if they had shown up, but they wouldn't have been at the ceremony anyhow. So they still could have kept their, anonymity. But eventually we're going to have to see their faces. Like, we've seen like part of their faces. We've seen baby faces, like some baby picture faces. But I mean, what do you guys think of that? I think it's just like, I understand and to a point, but I also understand that, like, for example, with the Wales babies, with Will and Kate's babies, at least we can see them. We kind of know where they're at, but they're definitely, let me hide those baby faces for as long as we want. Like, we don't even, this is why everybody speculates, ooh, where are the babies from? Like, it's because we don't really get to see. There's too much mystique about that, but they're public about everything else. So maybe they were worried about their kids' faces or their kids' identities being shown. Okay. It was his birthday. There's a pic of it. I love this. Okay. Now you guys have me exploring the John and JFK Jr. funeral because I'm curious. Okay. So exactly. Enough of our taxes has been wasted on the pandering to these two. He hasn't even been the spare since William had children, and then, I mean, it's like he really expects better treatment than any spare ever in history. And let's think about some people. Let's think about Princess Anne. That girl, she works her butt off. She was almost kidnapped at one point. Um, and she's just like, she's a kind of like royal family member who puts on her big girl panties, and her kids do too, and just gets to work. And it's like, she reminds me so much of her dad, especially. Like, they just kind of get the work done, and they eye roll a lot, like the whole drama of this royal family thing. So I can't imagine what they're thinking, but kind of, let's just, they're exaggerated. The concept of themselves is exaggerated so much in their own minds, and that's why it's so frustrating for a lot of us. Okay, let me see. Hold on, I'm missing. Okay, him coming is publicity. Yeah, that's true. That is true. Google says Brits paid 102 million pounds to the monarchy in 2022. That sounds about right. I don't know. I think it might be more than that. I saw Lilibet's face. Girl, all I saw was like the side. The one picture where she's kind of holding her up. Yeah, I guess that's the only time. Unfortunately for Meghan, her choice to not attend the coronation brings into focus that she is the problem here. Ooh, that's a really great point. I don't think and again, I don't want to sound sexist or anything like this. I don't want to, couples can have the relationships they want, but he is a prince. You can take the prince out of England, but that is his family. And so I don't care what dynamic you have, who's the boss, who's really wearing the pants or whatever, but she should show some love and respect to that family and understand it. But Mary, you bring up a good point. It's as if the concept of familial support and understanding the depth and importance of those relationships is like, I'm sorry, I don't care about these relationships at all. It doesn't matter. Because if she really wants to show the support, she will come with him, Okay, yeah. Okay, so let's talk about the saltiness. Do you all agree with Liz that even the fact that they named her Lilibet without asking the queen, since it was her private nickname, I mean, that's rude and entitled. So many people said they still should have named her Elizabeth fully. And if they wanted to call her Lilibet, they could have still called her Lilibet, but the official name is actually Lilibet, kind of taking the queen's nickname. I mean, there's a lot that they've done, even the way they had their babies. And she was like in labor and didn't even tell like anybody that she was, again, maybe she wanted some privacy, but nobody really even knew who the witnesses were to the birth. Okay. I have 6 children. That a few minutes they would have been bored and antsy. Right. But they were never going to come to the actual event. So yes, Louis, yes, Charles, I'm sorry. Yes, George and Charlotte are going to be there, but I don't think it was ever intended for Lilibet and Archie to actually come into the coronation. There's just not space. But I think they wanted an invitation, which would have been kind of nice, to maybe the extra events. But I don't know if at the dinner it's appropriate to have a 1.5-year-old, almost 2-year-old, I just don't know if that's even appropriate. So they could have made the decision to still come, make it a big deal for the kids. It's not like they're going to be at the coronation the whole time, right? Because they're not invited to everything. And just make it a family thing and still spend time with them. But Susie, I don't think they were ever going to go into the big, into the big event. And if they were, they probably would have had a plan to bring them in. Hey, and then take them out to what I call Sunday school. Take them out somewhere to another room, or put them in a car and bring them back to Buckingham Palace while the whole thing is going on. She does show signs. Understatement, girl. Understatement. Maybe that's not a girl, but I don't know. Yes, it's very narcissistic not to have a sense of empathy or compassion or understanding toward the family. Absolutely. Okay, so you have to question why Queen Elizabeth has not had a 4th-generation official for official photo with them as she did with the other part. Yeah, and because she would have been aware that she's getting older, and they apparently came to the Platinum Jubilee, and it was all like a big thing. Like, why didn't they have that picture taken? And she's like, no, thank you. I think what happened is that at that point, they were afraid that they were going to be used in the media, like on, Netflix or whatever. And they didn't want that. I'm getting divorced. It's giving me divorce vibes. This is what I'm saying. Do you guys think this marriage is going to last? Obviously, it's just us speculating, but I don't know. I'm happy Meghan is staying home and being with her kids. Prince Harry is blood. He should go. Yeah, I am glad he decided to go. I do think it's like a partial, number one, again, showing his entitlement. Let's not abide by the April 3rd rules, which probably every other member, like if you have a wedding invitation, don't you correspond unless you think that the invitation's hiding on your desk and you forgot. But when you are the subject of all of this press, will they come, will they not? When you are the subject of it, so now you're still deciding, you know what? That little RSVP thing, that's for everybody else. That's not for us. We don't need to RSVP by April 3rd. If we decide we're going to come, we can decide on May 4th if we feel like it. Like, I mean, it felt like it's sort of that kind of a vibe. That's true. The kids are blood too. Only Meghan is it. I mean, it would have been nice. I think it would have been nice. That's my opinion. No witnesses of the birth. We have conspiracy. I know there are some conspiracies. I've heard them all. Obviously it could be just that they wanted their privacy, but, so I don't know. I think she looked pregnant, although everybody said that she was holding her stomach. Weird. And I know a lot of Hollywood people do use surrogates, so I don't know, but I can't entertain that, because I really do think, like, when she was interviewed with Oprah, she totally looked pregnant to me. They were all babies. There needed to be witnesses. Warming pan baby. And oh yeah. I mean, personally, I think it could have been that surrogates or in vitro, something like that. I don't understand why everybody hates on her. I think the world of her and Harry. She's a private person. Get over it. Please stop hating on her. Yeah, I mean, I don't feel like I hate Meghan. I definitely don't feel like I hate Meghan. I feel like they've made some really bad choices. And quite frankly, Vera, if there's anybody that I'm frustrated with more, it's Harry, because this is kind of where I feel he was always the favorite for myself and for everybody. And so it feels like even if you have a dispute with somebody, and even if you're dealing with your own psychological stuff, processing, because we have said this before, he's gone through stuff that nobody should have gone through in his entire life, right? But do you then process it all publicly with the media, which is the very thing you are trying to transform? Like, I don't know. And I will say that we can't totally know, that we are speculating, but that's why it's sort of like gossip and royal news, because I don't know what we really do know about any celebrity. Why does anyone not speak of William's affair at Hanbury? Okay, so, well, because we don't know yet. And it could be just a cover, but Rose is going to appear with her son and her husband there. They're keeping them very close, but I mean, anything's possible. We could be talking next month and the month after that all about William. We don't know. We don't know about that either. So, and it is true. We don't know. We also don't know if Prince Harry is happily married. We don't know about that because there's been rumors about affairs with him too and Meghan. Just saying, to be fair. So at the end of the day, none of us know anything. We don't. Okay, so I wouldn't doubt it. It's difficult to work out because the monarchy brings in such through tourism. Okay, Archie and Lilibet would have been together with their second cousins at a kids' party in the palace away from the crowds. Yeah, I heard that Eugenie was going to have her little guy August, and then I can't remember Beatrice's. Is it Savannah? No, not Savannah. There is a Savannah, but I can't remember what Beatrice's baby's name is. Sophie, Sadie, something like that. Anyhow, yeah, there would have been like a party there, and that could have been fun. And that's the thing. It's that it could have been a fun party for them all to be together. Okay, so I love that it irks so many of you. Keep living life, Meghan. Okay, so yes, I think the marriage will last. They seem a couple, and that's the thing. They could be. Listen, the one thing I've said about Meghan and her influence in Harry's life, irregardless of what people think, is that I do recognize personally that it seems like he feels like he's in a really safe place to be able to express himself for the first time in his life. And that's why it can be annoying because it's like, oh my gosh, we're hearing all this stuff. But imagine him having to hold that in and not having the encouragement to be able to express himself. And I will say that anytime there's a transition, let's say this is a new monarchy, transition into different things, and he's trying to make a major transition, I think in honor of his mother, which is totally something to be commended regarding the media, but it's clumsy. However, I do acknowledge that it's clumsy anytime there's a big transition or anytime anybody's trying to make change for anything. So there is that. Fake news. Meghan married into history. She needs to compromise. Otherwise, don't give up your American citizenship. So the marriage was doomed from the word go. Yeah, I mean, it does seem like in some ways they kind of played this. There's so much generated through Duchy of Cornwall. Okay, yeah. So you guys are having side conversation on the money. One thing I suggest you all do, and we can come back and talk about this, and maybe you guys can do even deeper research, is that The Guardian is doing this really interesting expose. All of you would like it, whether you love or hate Meghan, and those of you who love Meghan and Harry especially might be really interested in this part because I am. It has to do with kind of like the strangeness of like where all of the money has gone, what they've done with the money. Why is it, definitely sort of the sketchier side. So The Guardian is, I would not call them monarchists at all. And, check it out. In the event of a gay monarch, I don't know. They probably, I'm not sure. Maybe they would have to inseminate and have kids that way so that he could continue on. I'm sure there's been some gay monarchs. Definitely. Let's go into history and talk about that. Sam, keep looking at my videos. I will find one for you. That Charles and Catherine long to have Harry back. Okay. Do you think Catherine longs? I think Catherine probably does. They were good friends. I don't think she's happy with Meghan, but yeah, Prince Harry and Princess Duchess kids are too young to attend a coronation. I adore Meghan. Okay, so there you go. I'm okay with us all having different opinions. It's fine. I honestly find myself sort of in the middle with different things because we can't say that everything smells like flowers on the royal side either. I am glad Harry came. I just wish that they would all have come. I really do. I really wish they all would have come. With no filter and expect no, that is true. Wait, okay. I agree. You're downplaying your husband's family and his origins was emotionally abused. Well, and here's the thing. She doesn't talk about her own family much. So that's sad to me too. I don't adore Meghan, but I think that people give, they don't recognize that she's not the entire scapegoat. I don't think she should be the entire scapegoat. So Harry can't honestly expect to speak his mind with no filter and expect no royal repercussions. Every choice has consequences, and he has to realize that. That is true. He's basically broken the code. He's broken the code, never complain, never explain. He's complained and explained. And so all of a sudden he went against what the code was. But things do change in time. So there you go. Okay, so if there wasn't an heir, to get back to Sam's question, which is intriguing, the next monarch would have been the next eldest brother's family, as when Edward VIII abdicated, his brother became King George VI, and then the late Queen. So let's say William was gay and never wanted to even have children. Then Harry would have been the next in line. So, but I think if you were the gay monarch, then you, especially modern day times, that does not mean that you wouldn't want kids at all. So a gay monarch can still have children. So he may still want his heirs if there was an institution like this that allowed it. You know what I'm saying? Because they might be like, ooh, that's not good. They may be freaking out over that. But it's not possible, in my opinion, and based on some things that I've read, for there not to have been a gay monarch. I'm going to try to poke around in history and find that. Okay, so are the Middletons or her brother and sister going to the coronation? I believe that the family itself, Carol and her husband, what is Catherine's dad's name? I forget. James, something like that. I don't know. They are going to go. And I think that they have a special task to do or whatever. They have certain roles. So, Sam, I will be doing the research. Anybody want to help me? Send me some info. Also, by the way, to get a little bit into, kind of current events, I'm really excited about Shonda Rhimes. She's going to be releasing a show here in America. I'm sure it's not perfect, but on Queen Charlotte. And I will tell you, although I think all the pictures that we've seen of Queen Charlotte, her skin's a little lighter, the actress she has like all of the same features. And so it looks fascinating. And again, I'm sure it's a biopic or whatever, so it's not going to be perfect, but it does look interesting to me. I don't think I would attend if I were Harry. Okay. I think he was stuck. Like if he didn't go, it's a big deal, right? So he aired probably on the side of caution. Apparently he's only staying for a little bit, and he's not going to stay the whole time. In fact, they say he's just going to go to the coronation ceremony itself, one and done, which could explain why the rest of the family's not coming. If they knew ahead of time, I'm not staying there, we're not even talking, why would we stay in Buckingham Palace? They may be bugging us. Like if we stay in Buckingham Palace, maybe they're going to have bugs on us, and now we can't even talk freely. Like they're all so paranoid of each other, I guess rightfully so at this point. But is the Queen's resting place? It's at St. George's, which I think is open at certain times, but that is a question because I'm not in the UK right now. I don't know. Well, there's I'm reading what Ms. Jules is saying regarding Charles as the Antichrist. I just know that there's a lot of really fun, and I shouldn't say fun, but interesting things that they've said that are fascinating. So I don't know. I try at this point to stay away from all of that. Although I don't know, there's part of me that likes to at least hear it, but I have such a creative mind that I tend to go down the rabbit trail with that stuff. And I can't, because most of it's so far out. But anyhow, okay, guys, I think we are good. Harry's coming. We have mixed reviews. I think in general, some of us are happy that he's coming, but we wish everybody would have come. There is a good argument or a good point of view regarding why he shouldn't, but that was probably what they were mulling over. Okay, if you go, it's going to be like this. Will you stay for this amount of time? Okay, if we go and bring all of the kids, should it be like this? If we don't go, and we don't know what's going on with their kids. Maybe their kids just really don't like to fly. And then, of course, if they take a private plane, then they're in trouble because now it's not economically sound. And then if they, yeah. And then if they take the public plane, then do they have the security? I don't know. There may have been a lot of things for them to consider that we totally, somebody not in the, in the royal family would not know. Okay. All right, guys. Sam, I will follow up on this subject. Okay. Guys, thank you. Please do subscribe. We will talk again. I'm going to post a full video on this, at least the announcement, I think, later. I'll talk to you guys later. Debbie, watch the replay. All right. We'll talk to you guys later. Bye.